What if two entire civilizations, older than any known human record, vanished in a single night? Lemuria and Mu, lands of golden cities, crystal temples, and knowledge that could rewrite everything we think we know about our past. And what if the proof they existed isn't buried under the ocean, but hidden inside our very DNA? Stay with this story until the end, because tonight we'll follow a forgotten trail that links ancient myths, real science, and memories that might still live inside you. And while you're here, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with someone who loves a good mystery, and drop a comment below. It helps keep stories like this alive. For centuries, the Pacific and Indian Oceans have whispered legends of lands that no longer appear on any map. Sailors spoke of towering mountains rising from the waves. Explorers recorded strange ruins in places where no civilization should have stood. And ancient texts described empires that thrived long before the first pyramid was ever built. In the late 19th century, British zoologist Philip Sclater noticed something odd: identical species of lemurs in Madagascar and India, separated by thousands of miles of ocean. His explanation: a lost continent, which he called Lemuria. Around the same time, an eccentric British colonel named James Churchward claimed to have studied ancient tablets in India that told the story of another sunken land, Mu, a civilization that, according to him, was the cradle of humanity itself. Most historians dismiss these tales as fantasy, but then divers began finding structures beneath the waters of southern India, massive stone formations off the coast of Yonaguni in Japan, and strange alignments across Polynesia that hint at a global network far older than we were taught. Tonight, we'll follow those clues, from sunken cities and forbidden maps to myths that might hold fragments of the truth. And as each piece falls into place, you might start wondering if these civilizations ever really disappeared at all. In 1864, Philip Sclater, a respected British zoologist, was puzzling over the peculiar distribution of lemurs. These animals, found in both Madagascar and southern India, seemed separated by an impossible stretch of ocean. To explain it, Sclater proposed something radical: that a vast landmass once connected these regions, later swallowed by the sea. He named it Lemuria, after the creatures that inspired his theory. His idea wasn't born out of myth, it was pure 19th century science. But as the theory of plate tectonics emerged decades later, Lemuria was quietly erased from academic circles. Yet, the name refused to die. Instead, it slipped into the hands of mystics, occultists, and spiritualists, transforming from a zoological hypothesis into a vision of an ancient, enlightened civilization. Half a world away in the early 1900s, another extraordinary claim emerged. James Churchward, a British-born officer in the colonial army, recounted meeting a Hindu priest in India who entrusted him with ancient tablets, the Nakal tablets. Carved in a forgotten language, they supposedly told the history of Mu, a continent in the Pacific, home to 64 million people and a single unified government. Churchward painted a vivid picture: fertile plains stretching as far as the eye could see, temples crowned with crystal domes that pulsed with energy, and an advanced society that understood the forces of nature far beyond our current grasp. But in one cataclysmic night, Mu vanished beneath violent earthquakes and colossal waves, leaving only scattered survivors to seed the world's future civilizations. Whether you believe these accounts or not, both stories share something: they refuse to let go. From the moment they were told, they've lived on in folklore, in esoteric teachings, and in the whispered claims of modern explorers who say the evidence is still out there. Off the southeastern coast of India lies a small fishing town called Pumpuhar. Beneath its shallow waters, divers have stumbled upon something astonishing: long stone structures arranged in patterns too deliberate to be natural. Archaeologists suspect they might be over 7,000 years old, older than the Egyptian pyramids. If true, this would rewrite a chapter of human history we thought was closed. Further north, in the Gulf of Kambat, sonar scans have revealed an even greater mystery, the outline of an ancient city sprawled across the seabed. Streets, foundations, and massive blocks lie hidden under layers of silt. Preliminary dating of artifacts retrieved here suggests a time when mainstream history insists there were no cities at all. Thousands of miles away, in the Pacific, the ruins of Nan Madol rise out of the water like the bones of a forgotten giant. Built from massive basalt columns stacked with uncanny precision, the site has no clear origin, no written record, and no plausible explanation for how such heavy stones were transported across ocean channels. Then there are the maps. The Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513, shows coastlines of Antarctica free from ice, something our civilization only confirmed with satellite imaging in the 20th century. Other charts hint at land bridges and island chains that no longer exist, perhaps remnants of continents erased from the surface. These clues, scattered across oceans and centuries, feel like puzzle pieces. They whisper of something vast, something older than any of our recorded empires, and they keep pointing back to the same question: were Lemuria and Mu more than just stories? Across the Indian Ocean, the Tamil language still carries words and rhythms eerily similar to Malagasy, spoken in Madagascar, thousands of miles away. Linguists scratch their heads. How could such patterns survive unless there was once a bridge, not just of land, but of culture? Ancient Tamil literature speaks of the Sangam age, when three great academies of poets and scholars thrived along a vast coastline, until the sea swallowed their cities. The legend of Kumari Kandam mirrors the fate of Lemuria so closely that separating them feels almost impossible. In Polynesia, chants passed down for generations tell of ancestors who came from a great land to the west, bringing navigation techniques so precise that they could cross thousands of miles without instruments. Flood myths, sunken lands, and star alignments recur in cultures that never met, unless, perhaps, they did. It's as if fragments of Lemuria and Mu survived, not in stone, but in song, language, and symbols. And the more we listen, the more those fragments seem to hum the same ancient melody. Some researchers believe Lemuria and Mu weren't just advanced in navigation or architecture. They may have mastered forms of energy we're only beginning to rediscover. Accounts from esoteric traditions speak of vast crystal networks, towers that pulsed with the Earth's own resonance, channeling power without a single wire. James Churchward, the man who popularized Mu, described sun temples aligned with solstices and equinoxes, designed to amplify solar energy. In his writings, these structures weren't monuments, they were machines. Off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument bears flat terraces, precise angles, and pillars that look almost quarried. To some geologists, it's a natural formation. To others, it's the drowned foundation of a culture that understood geometry not just for beauty, but for function, to tune into the planet itself. The island city of Nan Madol in Micronesia is another enigma. Hundreds of basalt columns stacked like a giant's Lego set, forming canals and plazas. No one can explain how such massive stones were transported over open water. Local legends speak of levitation, of priests who chanted the stones into place. If these accounts hold even a grain of truth, it suggests Lemuria and Mu harnessed sound, light, and magnetism in ways that could rival or even surpass modern technology. And if that's the case, what happened to it? Some say it was destroyed to prevent misuse. Others believe it was hidden, waiting for humanity to reach a level of responsibility to use it again. But whatever the reason, the silence of those machines is almost louder than their imagined hum. Every legend has its ending, and in the case of Lemuria and Mu, that ending was sudden, violent, and absolute. Ancient Polynesian chants speak of a time when the ocean itself rose up, walls of water swallowing coastlines under a blood-red sky. According to Churchward's records, Mu vanished in a single night, massive earthquakes splitting the land, volcanic fire pouring into the sea. Some modern geologists link this to real tectonic shifts in the Pacific Ring of Fire, an event so cataclysmic it could sink entire land masses. In southern India, the Tamil epic Silapatikaram tells of Kumarikandam, a vast land to the south, drowned beneath the waves. The story speaks of kings and scholars swept away, a world lost, but not forgotten. And then there's the theory that not all of it was a natural disaster. In the realm of alternative history, whispers tell of a war between Lemuria and Atlantis, a clash of philosophies as much as power, one aligned with harmony and the earth, the other with domination and technology. The result, mutual destruction, and the erasure of both from history. Survivors, if any, became wanderers, carrying fragments of knowledge to the Americas, Asia, and Africa. They built new homes, carved new temples, and wove their memories into myths, ensuring the names Lemuria and Mu would live on, if only in whispers. And yet, the ocean holds their graves. The silence of the deep is their final library, and perhaps, one day, it will open its doors. If Lemuria and Mu truly vanished, why do their echoes still ripple through our world today? Divers off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan, have discovered massive stone structures, terraces and steps descending into the abyss. Mainstream science calls them natural formations, but their sharp angles and deliberate patterns suggest a human hand. In the Pacific, the ruins of Nan Madol, a city built on coral reefs, stand as a puzzle. Gigantic basalt columns stacked like matchsticks, their origin and purpose shrouded in mystery. Some locals say it was built by the last descendants of a sunken kingdom, a refuge for those who escaped the flood. And then there's Mount Shasta in California. Over the past century, countless witnesses, explorers, mystics, even soldiers, have claimed to encounter tall, light-skinned beings speaking an unknown language, calling themselves Lemurians. They tell stories of crystal halls beneath the mountain, a city they call Telos, a sanctuary for what remains of their people. While mainstream historians dismiss these accounts as legend, there's an undeniable pattern: oral histories, architecture, and symbols scattered across continents, all pointing back to the same origin. Perhaps the story of Lemuria and Mu isn't just buried in the past. Maybe in ways we can't yet see, it's still unfolding. When you weave together the myths, the ruins, and the whispers, Lemuria and Mu stop feeling like forgotten fables. They become a mirror, a reminder that civilizations rise, fall, and sometimes, if we listen closely, still speak through the stones, the waves, and the stories carried across generations. Whether they were lost to the sea or hidden in plain sight, their legacy might still shape us in ways we barely understand. If this journey sparked your curiosity, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe, share this video with friends who love a good mystery, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Your voice is part of keeping these stories alive.